Hello, it's Richard Haggerty here. How do you break the stop smoking habit? I mean, how do you break it so that you stop the yo-yo habit of smoking? And that's really what I want to look at here today, because there are so many people who just stay stuck in a habit. Let me give you the most extreme example I know. I spoke with someone recently who said, "Oh, yeah, I used to smoke." And I said, "Oh, fantastic. I'm always interested." I said, "So how did you quit?" She said, "Well, I did it by myself through willpower." I said, "Fantastic. That's amazing. How, what happened?" She said, "Well, I started and I was on the wagon. I stayed for a while, then I fell off the wagon. I came back again." I said, "Oh, great. So, did it go on for a little while?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, how long?" She said, "It took me 40 years. 40 years to quit smoking." Like, I work with people and we do it in 20 minutes and they stay non-smokers the rest of their life. So there's clearly a problem for people wanting to smoke when they start it and they do maybe, a day, half a day, a week, maybe a couple of weeks. And they're struggling with what they perceive are nicotine withdrawal symptoms, which largely are psychological triggers inside them, old habit triggers that come from a link between a perceived payoff from smoking and what's actually happening. Okay, and that's what really needs to be addressed, because otherwise what's happening is you just go through that cycle of setting an intention to quit and then falling off the wagon and doubting your very ability to make a change and become a non-smoker. So when you think about it, what are the kind of core things? What needs to have happen to stop this kind of yo-yo deal with smoking? All right, it's not what you think. Okay, it's not more willpower. Okay, it's not struggling and trying really hard. It's not trying to do a marathon where you're just going through the wall. In fact, most of the people I help quit smoking have never had any cravings or nothing substantial, and they generally forget about the habit and just get on with their lives. Okay, but here's the thing: if you stay fighting and relying on willpower all the time, it's always going to be a struggle to quit smoking. You don't want it to be a struggle to quit smoking. You want it to be straightforward. You want to make it easier on yourself. Okay, and it is possible to make it easier on yourself, whether it's quitting vaping, quitting cigarettes, all right, when you approach it in the right way. So here are a few ideas to help you with this. Just remember, first of all, that if you have tried something a number of times and it's failed, using the same strategy again is probably not going to work for you. That strategy is just not going to work for you if you're just going to do exactly the same thing. Just tell yourself, "Oh, this time it's going to be different," and then you find yourself, doing exactly the same things and getting exactly the same results. If it has not worked before, chances are you've got a poor strategy, okay, and it's not likely going to work again, okay. Or if it does, it's going to take you 40 years, all right. And really, do you want to be spending 40 years of your life struggling to make something happen? All right. So the first thing is just be honest with yourself. Look at what you've tried before. Has it worked? Yes or no? Okay. And if you're still smoking, then clearly it hasn't worked. Now, it's really interesting when I talk to people and they say, "Oh, yeah, I know how to quit. I've done it before." Really? You're actually smoking now, and you're telling me that you've been successful at quitting? No, all you've done is you've basically kept your identity as a smoker, but you've had a bit of a break from it. You've had a little bit of a pause, but deep inside you, there's been something that a nagging doubt, a lack of belief in yourself, a lack of a belief that you can live your life fine without cigarettes. And that really is that's really a core part of the problem. You have to start shifting your identity to becoming a non-smoker. All right, a non-smoker doesn't think about it. They don't yo-yo. They don't have cravings. They don't worry about it. They just don't smoke. And this is important. So let me talk a little bit about being a non-smoker. The identity of a non-smoker is really what you want to aspire to, okay? How does a non-smoker think? Do they wake up each day looking around at their day and planning when they're going to get cigarettes, how they're going to afford it? Do they plan their route to the shop to get cigarettes? Are they constantly scrabbling around for opportunities to go out? Are they in a meal only thinking about the craving and when they're going to be able to get up during the meal and go for a cigarette? No. A non-smoker thinks and feels very differently. They have their life, they get on with that, and cigarettes are neither here nor there. Okay, if other people smoke, so be it, but it's just not on their radar. Okay, so the non-smoker identity is really what you want, because yo-yoing and quitting and all those things and cravings are just not relevant because you don't smoke. So how could you become a non-smoker? So this is really, really fundamental, and this is part of what you'll be going through in your process to go from yo-yoing on and off and so forth. All right, it's very, very different from being a person who smokes, who's in the process of quitting and going to some support group and telling people, oh, it's been 19 days, and everyone goes, yay, and then somebody comes back and says, hey, I'll pray for you. I mean, honestly, I see this so much. People saying, oh, just pray and you'll be okay. No, you need to get a plan to upgrade your identity to being a non-smoker, all right? And I've worked with people in their 70s who've quit, all right? It is totally possible to quit when you make that decision that I no longer want to be this kind of person. People do this all the time, all right? Think about somebody who's overweight. There are people who are overweight who are now fit and strong. What happens? What's the kind of mental process they go through, the thinking process? It's the same as somebody who wants to quit smoking. They will look at themselves, they might look at themselves in the mirror, they might weigh themselves, but they look at their lives, they decide that enough is enough. There's dissatisfaction with the way things are. Once they've got that dissatisfaction, what they do is they'll say, okay, I want things to be different, and they'll start looking around for a plan. Okay, they'll look around online, they'll watch videos, they'll engage with somebody, they may get some specific help. But the point is they're going to have a plan in place to move towards that. And, here's the thing, weight loss takes a lot of time and effort. Okay, the habits you have to put in each day, it is possible, but it's hard. Quitting smoking is easy in comparison. Easy, you say? Stopping smoking is easy when you make a decision that you want to be someone different from who you were, when you want to change your identity and become a non-smoker so that you quit smoking for good. Okay, and the benefit of having some help with that, the benefit of having support with that, is that you can do it very quickly. You can convert the all that energy that you used to have into trying to quit the habit and how bad you felt and the regret into confidence and willpower, this intense drive to just enjoy your life in different ways. Or you can spend 40 years trying to do it, struggling and worrying whether it's going to happen, even if you're not smoking. I can't tell you the number of people I've spoken to who haven't smoked for a while, but spend all their time worrying about it and trying to deal with cravings. Now, you don't need to do that, okay? But if you want to be a non-smoker, you've got to do something different. You can't just leave it to chance. You can't do the things you've done before. You can't just hope that it's going to be okay. You can't just rely on a prayer. If you want to change, if you want to stop smoking, then the first thing you need to do is look at it in the cold, hard light of day, your behavior, make a decision that enough is enough. You want to do something different. You want to experience things differently. You would like to enjoy life more, and you want it to be easy. And then go out and get a plan. Find someone who can help you and get going with this so you can be a non-smoker and break the habit of yo-yo quitting.